all over the country. One Mahotsav week is celebrated from 1st July to 7th July to spread awareness of forest conservation and to save the environment. Trees and forests play a very crucial role in maintaining an ecological balance and providing oxygen to human beings on the planet. The One Mahotsav week is a reminder that we must protect forest and stop deforestation and practice the 3R rule. 3R rule: reduce, reuse, and recycle. The history of One Mahotsav Day dates back to 1947 when it was first organized by Punjabi botanist Dr. M.S. Randhawa from 20th to 27th July. National leaders like Dr. Rajendra Prasad ji and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji. Since then, the tradition of celebrating One Mahotsav and planting trees has continued. So, continuing this tradition, we are celebrating One Mahotsav by organizing today's webinar and trying to aware our audience about the importance of plantation of trees. So, main agenda of today's webinar is just to make aware all of you about the importance of the plantation of trees. So, a leader is one who lights the path to the impossible and take those who follow to great heights. Before proceeding with the event, on the behalf of Department of Botany, I would like to express my gratitude to our wings of light, our pillar of strength, and our constant source of motivation. That is our worthy principal ma'am, Professor Dr. Atima Sharma Dwivedi, for accepting our invitation and sparing precious time for her busy schedule for motivating our students or our audience. Professor Dr. Atima Sharma Dwivedi, Principal Kanya Mahavidyalaya Jalandhar, is a visionary, dynamic, and renowned academician with vast teaching and administrative experience in India and abroad. A leader who leads from the front, she believes and works with the transformational and progressive approach towards education. She has innovative, inclusive, and participatory leadership style with outcomes-oriented approach and record. Having focused on social issues of national and international proportions, she is committed to social work and is passionate about helping women of less privileged sections of society by developing entrepreneurial skills in them. She has successfully started collaboration with various US universities, MNCs, and local industries for providing excellence in education to students. She has been awarded by many national and international awards, and it is a matter of great pride for every KM that college has been ranked #1 by India Today magazine survey for 3 consecutive years, that is from 2019 to 2021. Now, I would like to request our Honorable Ma'am Principal to address our audience. Ma'am.
Thank you, Sandeep, very much for your very, very generous introduction. At the outset, I would like to welcome Dr. Vivek Sharma for this webinar on a very pertinent, a very, very important topic of developing a green India and nurturing citizens, especially the future citizens, the young people of today, to help develop an environment which is healthy and which supports human life and all endeavors that accompany a breathing human being. Why I said that? Because living beings need good air, good environment, as far as the other aspects are concerned. And so when we talk about this, along with the 3 R's that Sandeep mentioned, of course, in simple words, and to begin with, we can also help have a very, very green environment. And trees are the most important way to make our environment, our earth, our country, and our region green. Well, environment is one of the most important issues that should become, and that has become, an essential part of education, so that in the future citizens, we have this awareness, and not only awareness, but it has to be made a habit. It has to be made a second nature to live a life which supports developing a sustainable, good environment for human life. Well, having said that, Dr. Vivek, I would like to share with you and also tell everybody here who do not know that our institution is one of the greenest belts in this region, having more than 250 trees on the campus. And well, I'm just counting the big trees. The rest of the plants and the bushes and obviously, you know, the grass and on this 37-acre landscape institutional campus, we are very, very fortunate. And we are very aware that maintaining a green belt and breathing in this beautiful environment is the most fortunate thing for all KMBIs. In fact, if you have not been, Dr. Vivek, I would welcome you to sometime come to this campus and you know, realize what I'm saying practically. We also, along with that, have more than you know, I would say 70, 75 peacocks on the campus because of the greenery, and we have a botanical garden, and constantly it's a part of our administration to support the green environment on the campus. Well, having said that, it's just a very, very small drop in the contribution that all of us can make to the environment. And I congratulate all the, you know, especially the teachers of sciences, more so the discipline of botany on this observing the Van Mahotsav Day, because it's just not a day. In fact, it's extending the, you know, we are extending the whole celebration. In fact, it's an observation. It's raising an awareness, because we do firmly believe that on the ground action is more important than conversations. But nevertheless, it's important to understand the importance as well, so that our action becomes purposeful, it becomes more passionate and meaningful. And to that effect, I congratulate Dr. Shikha and the whole team of the Department of Botany under the leadership of their Dean, Mrs. Sadhna Tandon, to have organized this event. And I once again wish to thank Dr. Vivek for having taken out your time for this contribution towards the mission that we have to be able to build a world of tomorrow which will be healthy for the whole humankind, and also for the not only the humankind, for all living beings. So thank you once again, and now I would like to hand you back over to Dr. Sandeep Kaur. Thank you.
Unmute.
Sorry. Thank you so much, ma'am, for encouraging our audience by the precious words. We are really thankful you, ma'am. It's you who always encourages us to do such kind of events. We are really, really thankful to you, ma'am. So without taking much time, now I would like to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Vivek Sharma. Dr. Vivek Sharma is working as an associate professor botany, especially in medicinal plants, in the Department of Botany, Eternal University, Baru Sahab, District Sirmaur, Himachal Pradesh. He is well qualified, young, energetic, sincere, competent, intelligent researcher, and a trained teacher. He has completed his PhD in 2010 from the Department of Botany, Punjabi University, Patiala, and Natural Product Chemistry and Process Development, IHBT, Palampur, Himachal Pradesh. He has extensively studied cytomorphological, ethnobotanical, phytochemical evaluations, as well as herbal preparations of valuable medicinal plants from North India. During his research period, he worked on various parameters such as field exploration and taxonomic studies of medicinal plants diversity, cytomorphological studies of medicinal plants, natural plants product extraction, isolation, and various analytical techniques. During his research period, he has published more than 50 research papers in different national and international journals, and also 5 books in his credit. He has submitted 5 patents on various herbal and nutraceutical products. He successfully completed several in-house projects and simultaneously working on number of research projects on medicinal and aromatic plants approved from various national agencies. Dr. Vivek has guided 3 PhD students successfully and still guiding 5 more PhD scholars. Recently, Dr. Vivek is also appointed as guide by CSIR for guiding one RA candidate. He is also acting as an international guest faculty member of Bionatural Healing College of USA, and he attended 30 national and international conferences. During international conference, he has represented North India in third global summit on medicinal and aromatic plants held at Chiang Mai, Thailand in 2007. He got third position in an international competition, that is Dr. P.D. Sethi Research Paper Award 2007-8 for one of the most important and valuable medicinal plants, that is Vidania somnifera, or commonly called as Ashwagandha. He also got first position in Research Paper Award in 2010 for research on aromatic plants, that is Mentha arvensis, and recently got Young Scientist Award from Regional Cum Facilitation Center, North 1, National Medicinal Plants Board, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Along with research and academic qualification, he has also participated in various national and international debates, declamations, and anchoring contests. Recently, Dr. Vivek Sharma got one major project on berberis from National Medicinal Plants Board, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. List of his achievements is very long and never ending, so not taking much time, I would like to invite Dr. Vivek Sharma for his talk. So, Dr. Vivek, stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sandeep. I don't think so that I have done this all work, but I congratulate, and I must say that it is only due to the wishes of my parents, wishes of my respected guides, and the students who are working with me with a very dedicated way. So it all, I give this credit to all these, I mean to say. And first of all, thank you, and very good morning to the principal of this college, Dr. Atima Sharma, ma'am. You rightly said that this is one of the very historical college, and I want to say that even I also congratulate you that this is one of the first college and ranked 1 in Punjab and top national ranking in India Today survey to 2021. And also I congratulate and giving my thanks to Dr. Sadhana Tandon, the dean of this college, and faculty members of all the colleges, and even especially the Department of Botany and HOD of the Department of Botany, Dr. Shikha, and also Dr. Sandeep Kaur, who is one of the person, and I just want to tell you that she is very enthusiastic and very hard-working lady, very hard-working researcher. Whatever I know her from last 10 to 15 years, she did a very tremendous job there at Punjab University Patiala, and still I think she is doing her best here in this college. So thank you very much. And today I just want to deliver one of a very important topic. I just want to tell you, because the plantation drive, which is also called as the Ban Mahotsav, it is actually a Mahotsav. In general, it is called as, it should be a festival, and we are celebrating this particular day, not a day, but 1 week. But this is my personal thinking that these type of days should not be considered only and only for 1 day or for 1 week. Every day we should have to celebrate these plantation tree festivals, because during this pandemic, we came to know that what is the importance of these trees. Everybody suffering from various diseases, respiratory diseases, oxygen shortage, and many more things we came to know. But the reason behind it, because it is one of the alarming time, and we should have to wake up, I think, right now. these lectures, these papers, these things, whatever we are just going to deliver right now, these should not be completed if hardly we not joined these type of particular, I mean to say, these type of campaigns. And every student, every teacher, every living being should contribute their little things to celebrate these type of Mahotsav, these type of festivals. I just want to share my screen right now. So I think it is visualized to each and every faculty.
Yes, sir.
So the plantation drive is Step to Green India, which is one of the most important drive. And I think this is one of the steps where we should have to create one of the Green India, or one of the land of God, land of goddesses. And this is the duty of not a single person, but I don't want to say that everybody should have to contribute here, their little efforts to make it green. So thank you very much. And I'm now going to deliver one of my talk in this national webinar on the occasion of Van Mahotsava. And thanks to the PG Department of Botany, and a special thanks to all the students who are listening me. My field is botany, and I am working on medicinal and aromatic plant. But when I came to know about this topic, I want to contribute a very little to this Mahotsav in the form of the information which I would like to share right now. So what is the Van Mahotsav? Van Mahotsav is an annual tree planting festival. And everybody know that in 1950, it was initiated by the Indian Union Minister of Agriculture and Food, Shri K.M. Munshi, at that time. The planting of the tree during the festival serves various purposes like alternative fuel, increase production of the food resources, help to create shelter, provide food and food for the cattle, food for living beings. It is also helpful for soil conservation, helpful to control the pollution. So this is not even a single, I mean to say, it is not a single festival. It is a group of different festivals which combine together in the form of this Van Mahotsav. In India, as we know that it was started as a crusade to save Mother Earth. Because only Indian, or we can say we are very lucky that we are here in this very vast land, which we are called motherland. Mother which serve the nature, mother which serve each and everybody. That's why we are talking, and that's why we call this India, this great land, as a motherland. This is particularly the festival of trees, and it begins in July for 1 week after a flourishing tree planting drive was undertaken in Delhi. And at that time, Dr. Rajendra Prasad ji and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru participated this Van Mahotsava. And that particular drive initiated at that time, and till today we are celebrating this day, or celebrating this whole week in a very proper way. The festival was simultaneously celebrated in a number of states in India, as we know. There are many questions that still we are facing: deteriorated pollution, deteriorated environmental conditions due to this pollution. due to this soil pollution, or we can say the water pollution, air pollution, and many more things. We are in that position where India is growing, and India is now comes under the category where we can say we are developing ourselves. But many more things to say that we have lost many things. We have lost many natural resources. And that is one of the reasons that we should have more concerned about the environmental right now. And from the couple of years, I mean to say after pandemic, we realize that what is the position and what is the importance of these plants or these trees, which provide us life. According to the Forest Survey of India, over 30 years, 2/3 of the forest size of Haryana have been lost to encroachment. There are some factors. One by one, I would like to discuss and even tell you that there are so many different factors with the help of which we can even develop a very good forest in India. But simultaneously, there are so many other factors which also deteriorate these type of festivals which we are right now going to celebrate. So according to the Indian Forest Department, for every tree fallen, 10 tree saplings should be planted to make up for its loss. It is time to think whether we are planting even a single tree in a year. Think about it, please. But this practice is rarely followed. We all know that forests help us maintain ecological balance and reduce carbon footprints and even reduce the pollution. But still, we are not doing anything to serve this motherland. Hectares and hectares of the forest are cut down and burnt every mile in milliseconds. Recently, in Amazon, you came to know that what happened there. Can we even exist in this world without tree and forest? I think everybody will say no. So celebrating the importance of tree, Ban Mahotsav was initiated in the year 1950 to celebrate the importance of growing and saving our forest and create awareness about the ill effects of the deforestation. It is annual tree planting festival in the month of July. Again, I would like to say and tell you that we should have to celebrate every day Ban Mahotsav Day. Only then this motherland will survive and we will able to breathe in a very proper and in a very pure air here in this motherland. In July 1947, it was already said by Dr. Sandeep, and I have already explained that in India, in Delhi, by national leaders, it was Dr. Rajendra Shahji and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru who participated in it. And the festival was simultaneously celebrated in number of states in India after that. The vision, the mission, which was actually at that time visualized by Shri K.M. Munshi sir, to increase the production of the foods, to help and to create shelter belt around agriculture fields, to provide fodder leaves for the cattle, and to boost the soil conservation. These four factors, or we can say these 4 points, were there in their mind at that time. But nowadays, the list is very long. No doubt, governments, non-profit organizations, and all that, they are working very hard. Funds will be raised, and even lot of different things where everybody is right now fighting against this deforestation and to increase the awareness among the large masses of the we can say the people of India as well as abroad. Here are few steps where every individual can take to make a difference. Number one, plant more trees. Encourage your friends in your community to plant a tree and help keep your local forest safe. These are some of the duties, or these are some of our most important duties which everybody should have to take care. Every patch of green is worth saving. As Principal Ma'am already said that there are 250 trees, more than 250 trees, and this is one of the green belt. Madam, it is only possible because of your efforts and the efforts of all the students and the person who are in that particular campus. I think same kind of dedication if everybody show at their home, show at their in their own village, to create a very mini forest, to create a very small garden, even a kitchen garden, that will definitely contribute to save this motherland. Put pressure on the companies that are destroying forests to manufacturing their products by not buying from them. Lot of different companies are there. They are working and they are collecting the raw material from these plants and biodiversity, but they are not giving anything back to the biodiversity. They are not providing anything special to this motherland to protect those products or protect those raw material. We should have to support the brands with the zero deforestation policies and environmental friendly products and encourage people to do the same. Actually, these are all the oaths which we should have to take. Be aware and ask how the products you buy are being made. Go green. Generally, I see that in every mail, everybody want to write in their signature line, go green, protect green, save trees, save environment. But I think these should be practiced first. Practically what we are doing, that is more important than the theoretical. Already you said 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle, to lower the need for more raw material from the tree. These are our wealth, and we should have to protect this wealth. And the facts about the Van Mahotsav we are celebrating here. India is one of the among the top 10 forested countries in the world, and 16 different type of forests are found in India. 11% of the plant biodiversity in the world is found in India, and there are more than 15,000 species of flowering plants in India. But I want to say it is not 15,000. There are lakhs of the species of flowering plants comes under the different headings of the angiosperms, gymnosperms, and all. There are so many different species, but right now they are under the red category, that threatened species and all that. They are now extinct from their natural habitat. So these are the facts that we should have to protect our forests and to celebrate these type of festivals every day. Even if a student and even if a person plant a tree, that will add to protect the motherland of this India. There are some facts also, and why we are going to celebrate particularly these days as Van Mahotsav. It is more important to know that increase the greenery is one fact. To reduce the desertification is the second fact. To bring rain in proper time, that is the third fact. Right now, Everybody know that monsoons are very late. The reason behind it is only the destruction of these forests. It reduces the pollution level. It minimizes the effects of drought and global warming. It helps the factories to have a proper use of plant item without leaving a bad effect in the society and the environment. It minimizes the effect of the soil erosion. It helps to control the acid rain. Floods can be controlled to some extent. Wildlife is also preserved and protected. Rains are more obvious. So these are some of the points. That's why we are going to celebrate this Van Mahotsav. It is more important to know for every student and everybody why we are going to celebrate. There are only two facts. One, if we are lacking. Other, we are more fortunate about our future. We are more hopeful for our future. We want to create a such country where each and every belt should be called as a green belt, just like your campus is also called as one of the Greenland. So the audience, it is more important to discuss the biodiversity first. Yes, Van Mahotsav, that is one part, but without biodiversity and without understanding the different facts about the biodiversity, we can't move ahead and we can't do our best to protect this land. Everybody know that diversity is the variety and bio means the living, which also include plants as well as animals. This is a different types of the ecosystem where all these facts and factors combine together to produce one of the best place to live for living beings. That is called as the biodiversity actually. Now, what is the value of a tree? A tree that lives for 50 years generates maybe the facts and maybe the figures which I have mentioned here. They may be wrong, but I just want to give you only a single example that 5.3 lakhs worth of oxygen given by plant if that particular plant lives for 50 years. Facilitates 6.4 lakhs worth of soil erosion control, creates 10.5 lakh worth of air pollution control, provide 5.3 lakhs worth of shelter for bird and animals, recycle 6.4 lakh worth of the fertility. Beside provide flower, fruit and timber, when a tree is fell, it is something worth more than 33.9 lakhs. But right now, I would like to say that it is more than crores and crores. This is the fact which here we should have to think very deep. We should be emotional enough when we are talking about this forest and when we're talking about the trees. Not even because we are from that field, we are from botany and we are from some other field. But actually, what we are giving back to the nature, that is more important. And we should have to think that either we are doing our job in a proper way or not. When we are talking about the species of India and world, here are some of the examples. Maybe some figures are increasing right now, or here some figures are also decreasing with the destruction habitats and all. When we are talking about the taxa, particularly I am talking about the angiosperm, the last one. Actually, it is a cycle, biogeocycle, or we can say it is a cycle where animal as well as plant feed itself and behave in such a way none can survive alone. But when we are talking about the plants, you can see that in angiosperms, more than 17,000 species are there in India. And the conditions about the world is in front of you. And when we are talking about the Himachal Pradesh State Biodiversity Board, I'm coming to Punjab also. The facts and functions are very clear, and we should be very clear about it. Some part of Himachal, previously it was also comes under the Punjab region. The lowermost belt of Shivalik, we generally called as the Punjab at that time. But after constitution of the Himachal and the Himachal State Biodiversity Board, conservation of the biological diversity, sustainable use of the components, and the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising out of the use of the biological sources, knowledge, and the matters connected here with and incidental there to in the state under the various headings. Just want to tell you. Lot of functions of biodiversity boards are doing. Lot of functions are there which comes under the forest research associations and FRIs, institutions who are dealing with the forest and maintenance of these forests. Number of different institutes who are working on various parameters of environments as well as to protect the land, protect the water, protect the living organisms, even geological as well as botanically, both. And when we are talking about the status of biodiversity in Himachal Pradesh, everybody know that there are more than 3,000 species available, and maximum they are called as the medicinal plants biodiversity, floral biodiversity. Maybe in papers, everybody want to type and everybody want to write that this is the exact picture. But when you generally and oftenly visit to the forest, you will realize that we have missed many things. I want to tell you that in 2006 onwards and during my PhD, when we visited to Lohal and Spiti, lot of medicine plants were there at that time. But right now when we visit, we came to know that those plants are not found from that particular patch of that area. Unethical destruction, forest fires, grazing, and all these factors, they have destroyed the main habitat, they have destroyed the tree species, they have destroyed even the herbs and shrubs of that particular area. And we should have to protect, we should have to think deep how to do work and how to protect this motherland. Tree plantation is one of the subject where we are just talking, we are like now going to discuss. But previously, this particular status and the future outcomes, that should also be in our mind. Only then we will do work in a very proper way. Otherwise, nobody will be more careful to protect this motherland. And this is something about the Punjab. When I was just getting few facts from Punjab and biodiversity of the Punjab, the area which comes under the Punjab, that is 50,362 square kilometer, northwestern part of the country, 22 different districts, approximately 84% of the area which is under agriculture, and 3.52% area under the forest. And how many different species of angiosperm, teratophyte, bryophyte, fungi, as well as algae, they are also reported here in this particular slide. Prior to the Green Revolution, Punjab is one of the richest state. 41 varieties of the wheat, 37 varieties of the rice, 4 varieties of the maize. Why I am talking about all these facts? Because our students should know that here we are right now. But we were at that time, and right now here we are standing. What is our position? Van Mahotsav is very important. everybody know. We are celebrating for 1 week or we are celebrating for 1 month. That doesn't matter. But if you don't know about the fact and factuals of your state, of your village, of your institutions, or even about yourself also, are you contributing a little towards this nature? If yes, then you are doing better job. Otherwise, you should have to think again and to initiate this drive in a very proper way. The Shivalik foothills, which comprises approximately 80% area in the state, consisting of the 3% forest area, which I have already mentioned. Here are some of the patch, or we can say patches of forests in Punjab. And tremendous work already been done by various researchers, various activities have been done there to protect this particular region. Dr. Madam, Dr. Principal Ma'am rightly said that biodiversity and protection of this plant not possible if we are not considering the living organism like the wildlife and geological life, or we can say the animals which are living in that particular habitat. So here are some of the wildlife sanctuaries of Punjab region and how much area covered, that is also in front of you. Geological parks are there, community reserves are there. Our contribution is that if we want to plant a tree or we want to collect a tree or collect a plant or collect a plant material, simultaneously we should have to adopt that, to feed that, and to protect that. These are some of the factors. If we are continuously following those factors, only then we are in a survival stage. Otherwise, in future, it would be really very difficult for everybody even to get a single breath. There are some of the levels of the biodiversity which are very common, and everybody know that there are genetic level, species level, ecosystem levels, and everything is interrelated with each and every part. Genetic level when we are considering about the genes, species level when we are considering about the richness of the species and abundance of that community in a particular place, and ecosystem, which is one of the very complex system in this earth where physical, ecological, food web and nutrition cycles, they are already interlinked with each other. So these biodiversity is one of the major factor, because one Mahotsav and this tree plantation drive is also part of this biodiversity, also part of this forest. Think broad, think the basic needs of this society, think the basic need of the forest, think the basic need where we should have to contribute little. So value of the biodiversity given by the McNeely et al. 1990, value of biodiversity is direct value and indirect value. Consumptive, productive, which are called as the direct values, how we are consuming all those natural sources. And what are the productive values and indirect values? They are social, they are culture, they are ethical, aesthetic, optional, environmental. Because our states, either in Punjab and Himachal, we are very rich in cultural heritage. We are very rich in, our culture is very rich, I think. And that culture directly or indirectly related to this biodiversity, even animals, even to plants. There are some of the landmarks, there are some of the marks which are dedicated to particular state. But right now, not even a single person, they are thinking to conserve that cultural heritage, to follow the rule and regulations that how we should have to contribute and to conserve and to go for the conservation strategies for this biodiversity and for this forest. I don't want to read more and more, but I just want to tell you that in the form of food, drugs, fiber, pulp, fuel would fall under this category. Some of the facts and some of the figures are in front of you, where we should have to think. Plants are giving us a huge amount of different products. They are giving us drugs, they are giving us medicines, they are giving us food. We are getting fibers, we are getting fuel, we are getting wood. And they need only the care, they need only the thinking, they need only the protection from unethical peoples, from unethical sources. This is what we can give to these plants, this is what we can give to these trees. Already I have discussed that some social values are there, some productive values are also there. We know tulsi, we know mango, we know people. These are some of the plants which are called as the holy and the sacred plants. We are the person who respect the cow. We are the person who give our holiness to the religion, and we are also in the positions to give all the respect to the different facts and figures of this biodiversity. All life must be preserved, and live and let live. These are the two words, we can say these are the two different slogans everybody should know and to follow. Plants are not giving us only the food, plants are also giving us aesthetic values. Ecotourism, we are increasing right now. There is ecotourism and spots of ecotourism. They are now developing here and there in every state. This is actually the real beauty of the biodiversity, where every factor should be considered in a proper. So some of the values and some of the ecosystem values are also there. We should have to protect the different cycles, even oxygen cycle, even nitrogen cycle, even nutrition cycle. And all these facts are interrelated. I again want to tell you that don't consider that only the plant we have to protect the plants. We should have to protect the animals also. We should have to protect the environment also. We should have to protect the water. We should have to protect the soil. Only then we can protect plants, and because they all are interrelated with each other. When we are talking about the India as a mega diversity nation, how many species are there? How many mangroves, estuaries, coral reefs, black waters, rich biodiversity are there? But right now we are facing a very dangerous situation, alarming situations there. And it is right now the need of everybody to protect, everybody to think, everybody to rethink that how we can protect these natural sources. Because India previously was called as a mega diversity nation. And as per the global biodiversity, currently about 1.9 million species are known. More than 3 lakh plant species, I have already discussed that there are more than 3 lakh plant species which comes under the angiospermic plants available in all over world and utilized in one and other sources. And there are some of the points which I think everybody should know. 50 to 80% of the biodiversity is in rainforests. Deserts show minimum biodiversity. Many species are identified every day. List goes on increasing. Marine biodiversity is extremely high. And more than 1 lakh flowering plant species are in tropical forests. And roughly 1.5 million species are known till date, which may be just 15% of the actual number. I want to tell you, maybe it is the facts and figures which I am going to share you, they are understandable or not. But when we are talking about the biodiversity at national level in India, here you can see how many different megadiversity zones are there. 10th among the plant-rich countries, 11th in number of endemic species of higher vertebrates, 6th in terms of the center of the diversity. And as per the Ministry of Environment and Forestry records, approximately 20 years back record I am going to show you. That is 47,000 plant species, 7% of the global, 91,000 species of the mammal, 6.5 species of the global. Large number have endemic originated in India, 5,000 flowering plants, 340 corals. So this is the richness of the biodiversity at that time. But what about after 20 years, right now? Condition is really very alarming. These are some of the biogeographical regions of India. And list of some of the hotspots of the world. And here we are, Eastern Himalayas, Western Ghats, and Indo-Burma comes in 19th, 21st, and 32. These are the positions where India stands right. What are the threats? Anthropogenic causes and natural causes are in front of you. Loss of habitat, poaching, man-animal conflicts, introduction of exotic varieties, pollution, global warming, narrow geographical areas, low populations, and all these. And here you can see the loss of biodiversity, how we are destroying the forest. But we are cultivating not even a single inch of that land. Harm the growth of the local species, entire population wiped out by unwanted eradication of tree, plant, and all. Competition for the resources is also there. There is one example, that Congress grass in Sanjay Gandhi National Park. And some of the other exotic species are also there, which have been right now introduced in India and need to be afforestation or deforestation. Either we should have to protect our resources, or we should have to give space to these exotic species. I am not against to these exotic species. I am not against to the drives where we are going to propagate these exotic species here in India. But what about our own natural sources? What about our own tree species, which are going to extinct or comes under this red data list right now? The global warming is also changing all the facts and figures. Endangered species of India, we are IUCN, Indian Union of Conservation of Nature, 47 critical endangered species in India are there. The number of endangered species in India accounts for around 8.86% of the world's mammals. 45 families, 13 orders. When we are talking about the biodiversity conservation, two major approaches we should have to follow. One is in situ and second one is the ex situ. At the place and out of the place. Both these factors and both these points, I mean to say, there is a huge need to do more research, huge need to do more efforts. And every botanist and every candidate of this college, I think, not botany, it is not a duty of a botanist or duty of a person who is directly or indirectly dealing with the forest and all. But it should be a duty of each and every person, each and every living being, human being, to protect this nature, to protect these plants, to protect the natural resources. These are some of the in situ and ex situ conservation: sector plants, home garden, seed bank, field gene bank, cryopreservative, botanical garden, arboreta, zoological garden, and in situ protected areas network, sacred groves, biosphere, national parks, all that. every student should pick one or two different categories and points where they can make their best efforts. Some of the sanctuaries, some of the national parks are in front of you, but why we are not increasing the number right now? From last 20 years, we are just reading that we have these some national parks, we have only these sanctuaries, we have only conservation reserves, community reserves. Now we should have to increase the number also. But it only happens, it only possible if everybody think towards the nature, everybody think positively towards the nature. Not casual approach should be adopted. Here is the map where you can see national parks in India and wildlife sanctuaries in India. Need to increase the green patch so that we can proudly say that we have served this motherland in a very proper. Some of the laws are there, but I don't believe in laws, because every law that could be written in paper, that could be read, that could be followed or not, I don't say anything. But if you are not doing your job from your own inner heart and soul, I think nobody will get any positive response from their own job. And right now the job is to follow the drive of this tree plantation, celebrating this Van Mahotsav and all. Major natural resources, forest resources, water resources, mineral, energy, food, and land. Only few slides are there. Then I would like to close my session. But these are some of the major natural sources, and every natural source is interlinked with each other. We can't talk singly or we can't talk separately on the forest resources if we are not considering the water sources, if we are not considering the mineral sources, if we are not considering the energy, food, and land resources. So one should have to taken care about each and every facts and each and every points, and to inculcate the values, inculcate the different facts of forest resources into the water sources, how we can utilize the energy resources to protect the forest, how we should have to go for to protect the forest by utilizing the land resources. So these 6 points, they are very important when we are considering the biodiversity and its role. I don't want to say much more about the resources. Already I have told you that there are some of the resources, some are renewable, some are non-renewable resources. And when we are talking about the renewable resources, which comes under, in which forest, wildlife, biomass, and hydro energies, there comes under this particular heading, renewable resources forest. But if you are not serious about the biodiversity right now, I am telling you that very soon, they all moving towards the non-renewable sources at that time, because you can't propagate a tree within 1 day or within 2 days. It will take some years, it will take some months to grow. Only then that particular tree will provide you the oxygen and food. So here are some of the uses of the forest. We are getting wood, we are getting firewood, we are getting pulpwood, food items, gum, resins, and all, medicinal and drugs also. You are surprised to know that after China, India is one of the very biggest distributor or very biggest in the form of, in the field of these medicinal and aromatic herbal field. Plants are giving us very, very important things, not only to food, they are also providing us the medicines. They are also providing us the shelter. They are also providing us the wood, gums, resins, and all that. Now, what are the problems? Why there is a need to celebrate these days? Previously, I said that there may be two different facts. One, if we are lacking. Second one, if we are more serious about the future. What we are lacking and what were the problems we are facing. First is that is the exploitation, rapid and excessive use of forest to meet human demands. Second one is the deforestation. Clearance or clearing is the removal of a forest or the stand of trees where the land is thereafter converted into non-forest use. I think many of you, they were visited and still visiting Shimla. Road is now increasing, forests and the trees, they have been cut down. Loss of biodiversity is there. Nobody is thinking about where is that green tribunal. Don't think that I am against the government and I am against these laws. But if we are cutting the trees simultaneously, how many different trees we have incorporated, how many different trees we have given to that particular forest? Is there any idea? Is there any data available? Nothing is available. And then we are talking about the concentration of the carbon increasing, global warming is increasing, lot of different webinars, lot of different seminars going on here and there. But what is going on in front of our eyes? We have just shut down our eyes and just thinking that, yes, visionary leadership is one thing, but practically what you are doing, that is the real leadership, I think. And now the real leadership qualities should we inculcate to the next generation, or we can say all the students who are listening this webinar, listening my talk. Maybe I am wrong, maybe I am right, it's your views. But really I am very emotional today because when I visited this particular Sirmaur region before 10 years, it was totally green. Lush green valleys are there. But after 10 years, I came to know, and I just want to tell you with a very broken heart that that particular type of vegetation is going to extinct. Heavy grazing there, mining activities are there, hydropower projects right now, they are also developing. Dams, we have right now going to build a number of different dams. Yes, we need electricity. But right now, what is the condition of Punjab? Are you all getting proper electricity 24 hours? No. We are facing, because water, if we want to collect the water, but it comes only when there will be rain. And if there is no plantation, no forest region in that particular area, how you can get that rain, how you can get that water? That's why I'm talking to you, that it is not only a single word, one Mahotsav. We should have to think very large. We should have to think in a very broad way to protect this biodiversity first. Here you can see what is going on, illegal mining, what is going on. Cause of deforestation and consequences are in front of you. Fuel requirement, raw material, industries, shifting cultivation, overgrazing, forest fire, all these are the facts and figures. Existence of the species is affected, natural habitat, biodiversity is lost, hydrological cycle affected, soil erosion is there, in hilly areas, landslides are there, increasing in carbon level, global warming is there. But nobody is thinking about how to protect the forest first. Here you can see the condition of a dam. We stored water, we stored everything. But what are the disadvantages? The list of disadvantages, I think, much more than that of the advantages. I'm not against to build these type of the dams, because we have even lost our own land, even lost our own natural sources when Pong Dam at Hoshiarpur and this particular Himachal district Kangra built in 1973. And till date, that kind of forest we can't see even after 50 years. This is the condition. Punjab is called as the Punjab, 5 different rivers. But right now, what is the condition? What is the quality? What is the pollution level of that rivers? Nobody knows. What is the condition? What is the pollution level of the soil of Bathinda region and all? Nobody knows. They are not serious. We are using huge cut. We are using a lot of different pesticides for developing our agriculture practices. This is some of the facts.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you
wind up? Yeah, sure.
Hanji, sir.
Okay, I just wind up, and some sort of counter farming and different kind of farming system should be adopted, and to protect this motherland. And the desertification process of conversion of the productive land to arid and semi-arid land, 10 to 25% drop in the productivity in moderate desertification. 50% is serious desertification. So these are some of the factors against. And some remarks. I have already discussed these remarks. Why we are celebrating the Van Mahotsav. It increases greenery. It reduces desertification. It brings rain in proper time. It reduces the pollution level. Global warming is there, which can be minimized. So acid rain are there, which can also be controlled. Soil erosions can also be minimized. Floods can also be controlled, and wildlife is preserved. And even rains are more obvious. So these are some of the facts. These are some of the points. If we consider all those points, we should have to go for Van Mahotsav. And this is my personal view, to plant a single tree during this 1 week, so that we can contribute a very small thing to this motherland, small thing to this nature. So team of scientists from various disciplines like botany, geology, agriculture, horticulture, soil science, pharmacology, engineering, silviculture and economics, and trained foresters, administrators, forest lovers and all should be integrated in managing, promoting and implementing the conservation programs. This is all about my talk related to that of the Van Mahotsav, and congratulations to all who are going to celebrate this particular 1 week for this Van Mahotsav and dedicating this week to the Van Mahotsav. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot for giving me this time, and all the best to all. And I hope that you will definitely do your best to protect this motherland. And again, congratulations to the principal ma'am, to HOD ma'am, to dean, and the faculty ma'am, and technical staff, as well as the students of this college, which is one of the heritage colleges of Punjab, Kanya Mahavidyalaya Jalandhar. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Hello.
Yes. Thank you so
Yes.
much, sir, for sharing your views on this festival of trees, that is Van Mahotsav. I'm sure, sir, everyone gets encouraged by your talk and ready to plant at least one tree this week, because this is what you have told us कि इस हफ्ते में अगर इसका नाम वन महोत्सव है तो हम लोगों को इस महोत्सव को मनाना है, और मनाने का मतलब यही है कि हमें अपने इस हफ्ते में कम से कम एक प्लांट जो है वो जरूर जो है वो उगाना है। दिस इज व्हाट आई फील कि हम लोगों को इस जो हमारा मोटो है इसके ऊपर पूरे खरे उतरना है, तभी खरे उतरेंगे अगर हम अपने इस वन महोत्सव को अच्छे से मना पाएंगे। सो yes, you have rightly said, sir, it is a demand of the time that can we preserve or protect our biodiversity, and I'm sure, sir, we all are ready to contribute in this drive and make our motherhood green. So thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite our Dean of Life Sciences, Mrs. Sadhna Tandon, ma'am, to officially give you a vote of thanks. So, ma'am, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sandeep. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Faculty of Life Sciences, I wish to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to esteemed Professor Dr. Vivek Sharma for a very interesting, thought-provoking, and excellent presentation. Sir beautifully explained how plants play a key role in making our environment safe, healthy, and green, thus improving the overall quality of life. He also elaborated their role in maintaining biodiversity and ecological balance. Thanks for enlightening our students on this very relevant and pertinent topic, sir. And this awareness is actually the need of the hour. I would also like to thank our dynamic, visionary, and charismatic leader, our guiding force, Professor Dr. Atima Sharma Dwivedi, for always encouraging us to organize such academic activities. Sir, as Principal Ma'am already said, I also want to apprise you that under her guidance, we keep on organizing such plantation drives throughout the year, not only on one Mahotsav. And our beautiful, environment-friendly, clean and green campus bears testimony to this fact. And I want you to visit the campus once the
Absolutely.
pandemic is over.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you once again, sir, for your wonderful presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Whatever I have collected from the various sources, I just want to include in this particular PPT. So, but basically, I want to show you the research, and I am more enthusiastic how to collaborate with each other, how to collaborate these two institutions, Eternal University as well as this Kanya Mahavidyalaya, so
Definitely,
that in a
sir.
combined way we can work together. So that's what I personally want, that our institution should collaborate each other.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sadhna ma'am.
Hanji Shikha, you can carry on now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for giving your valuable time and enlightening our students with this alarming topic of tree plantation. And I think everybody should contribute towards this cause and make this land a beautiful one. I also want to thank Ma'am Principal for always lightening up our paths with wonderful opportunities for the students as well as teachers to attain excellence in all spheres of their life. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Sadhna Tandon, Dean Life Sciences, for her constant support and guidance. I sincerely thank Engineer Padram for his technical assistance throughout the program. Last but not least, I want to thank all faculty members and students present here for sparing their valuable time and being a very good listener. Let's, at the end, I will say, let's nurture the nature so that we can have better future. So with this quote, I would say thanks and goodbye to all. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Shikha ma'am. Elaborately, you have tell us how work is going on in the departments and how work is going on in your college. Yes, your college is one of the green belt. I know it very well because I am also from the same, very near to this Jalandhar. And simultaneously, we are also working very hard here to protect some of the species of this lower zone, particularly mid-Himalayan zone, up to mid-Himalayan zone. More than 200 plant species we have collected and introduced in our herbal botanical garden here. And this is one of the very rich region of biodiversity. And if anytime your students, anytime your college will want to visit here, we will definitely provide you full of our assistance here in this institution.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll definitely visit your institution.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Thank you.